Today on What Went Wrong, we risk our lives to tell the story. Hi, I'm Rhett Mauser, and in the over 40 feature films that I have done, I have admittedly probably risked more life and limb than I should have for, say, a particular shot or an angle. I can remember times hanging out of cars and thinking, please don't let me go, please don't let me go, please let the safety strap stay. Because sometimes it's worth it.
Hey, and for your actors too, them that you were hooking up to electrical outlets, and blowing up and throwing them downstairs.
See, for me, I don't necessarily, I don't condone doing that to actors, but I will put my life on the line when I feel strongly about something. But I try to dissuade them not to.
I think it's fabulous.
And in some of the things that I've done recently, not only have I risked, sometimes it's scarier to risk your livelihood and your career or your ability to be hired. Sometimes it's scarier to risk that than your life. Mm-hmm. Which by the time this comes out knows that that's something that I have done recently, and that was a great concern of mine. Mm-hmm. And still is. What is going to happen after that? But there are times when you have to do something. You have to tell that story. You have to put your life, your career, whatever on the line because it's that important. Right. And you have to understand that you yourself are not as important as a lot of things that are out there in the real world.
Yeah.
If I go, without accomplishing anything, then the world's not at a major loss. There's people around me that will miss me, but the world's going to continue going on. Yeah. And the world's not going to miss my films. There may be a few people out there like, I want to know what happened in the Innocent Saga, but then there's people that may not. More people will not. But the point I'm getting across is in journalism. To conclude our journalism week, our journalism series, is to talk about, there's a line in Tag Conspiracy where the cameraman and Maggie Tyler are debating, and she says,
"No story is worth dying for, Lenny."
If that were true, we'd still be in Vietnam.
That whole little exchange came from me walking through the halls and seeing periodically signs that said, "No story is worth your life." And that struck deep down in me. Because I remember the guys in the fedoras with a little press badge on their head running through the halls, gotta bring down the mafia, gotta tell this,
gotta tell a story,
gotta tell a story, gotta bring down the guy. Going after Nixon, going after the mob, Capone, going after these guys that could take your life, take your well-being. And sometimes they did.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lost your job and you were, in a homeless in the back of a Cadillac, drinking whiskey out of a little $2 bottle.
Right.
And sometimes you were killed. Sometimes you were run off a road. Sometimes you were machine gunned down in a diner. Mm-hmm. But you were trying to tell the story because it was important and it was valuable and it was necessary to prevent corruption, to prevent, to allow a free and a free society where you're able to go about your life the way that you choose to.
Right.
And that's what we refer to when we say the fourth pillar of society is the press is supposed to be there to be checking on all these other aspects of government to make sure that they're telling the truth, that they're not lying to us. And we know that they are, so we need you to keep us informed and keep the fire to their heels. And to tell people no story is worth dying for. Journalism died.
That's what real journalists do. That's how the big stories break. That's how the people get the truth and journalism is dead. And people like you killed it.
Yeah. Journalism is dead because now, without risk, what kind of stories are you going to get? What kind of truth are you going to get? Because the first politician that looks at you in a dirty way the first politician that gives you an evil eye or a threat, even a verbal threat, you're done.
Yeah.
With the simple stroke of my pen, I could have you both deem a risk to national security, hunted down and eliminated. Now, while you're willing to risk your life over your journalistic integrity, I'm pretty sure your cameraman over here making $10 an hour is a lot less likely to risk his life over a news story. How about you, Miss Tyler? You're willing to die for the story.
But it's not even so far as that, because there are reporters. I've worked with reporters that don't want to push a sheriff or ask the wrong questions to a police PAO, public affairs officer,
Right.
because, well, if I push them on this, then they're not going to give me information later down the road. They don't want to upset the public affairs people, because then they're not going to get the next story,
Yeah.
or they're not going to get the phone call when this happens. So they're going to ignore the important questions.
Well, see, and that's the combination of just being a pussy, and also not being a very good reporter.
I'm going to throw one other thing in there, and yes, that's all. That's all
because,
true.
Well, because the idea is that if you're a reporter and you're depending on the PAO for your information, what the fuck are you doing? You're not there just to listen to police PAO and there's your story. Like, no. The PAO is their story. You got to go out and get the rest of it somewhere else. If the police are doing this, and the PAO just says this, and you haven't gone somewhere else, you can ask the PAO, yeah, what about this, that, and the other thing? And then they don't want to talk to you anymore. Then you go to the other guys, hey, what about this? What about that? What about this? Because if you're a good reporter, you've got those connections. You should have those connections. You should be reaching out past what, the public affairs people are telling you.
Now, this is
you're
what
the
I'm gonna,
thing, yeah.
this is what I'm going to add on to that is the corporate takeover of media.
Right.
Now, again, I'm a capitalist. I got nothing against having a corporation and doing that. But here's the problem is now when you start getting these big corporations, you start getting lawyers involved. And it's like, well, we don't want them out there risking their lives. We don't, because if something happens to them, then we're held liable. Let's just all be safe and respectful. We don't want any lawsuits. We don't want anything like this. So now those corporations have shackled, or not even shackled, but promote the idea of just go out and get the soundbite and report what they said.
Yeah.
And there's no risking your life. There's no higher calling. There's no urgency or importance to bring the truth to the people, because it's you are now just an extension of every public affairs office.
Basically, you're just the modern newsroom being full of the dregs of society has become nothing more than the coffee boy for whatever organization. CNN has their coffee boys and girls that go out and they talk to other people's coffee boys and girls, and then they come back and report what the coffee boys and girls told them about whatever else. That's all they are, which is why people hate them so much. They also have not only a lack of ability of reporting the news, they're making up their own news, so the coffee boys and girls don't even have to go out. And so you've got the dregs of society sending out the coffee boys and girls to find out not a goddamn thing, so the dregs of society can talk about whatever and then get paid because the sponsors, that's what they want. It's ridiculous, which is once again, why no one likes them. One of the things that was so amazing, and like I said, I've got enough friends now who they have kids that are old enough now, they're going to the military and want to be in, don't want to be in, blah, 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 talk them into it, talk them out of it. And one of the things I've told people, and I tell their kids if they want to hear it, you will never be a part of anything as big, as powerful, or as good in your life. I honestly do believe the military is a force for good. Yes, we destroy some shit. Yeah, I was in the 1st Infantry Division. They're really, really good at breaking everything they see. They're fantastic. But you always knew that somebody, even if the guys I was in the service, most of them I didn't even like that much. I mean, I didn't care. Very, very few guys in the military I like. But I knew without a shadow of a doubt that they would charge into hell armed with only a spoon to bring back my dead body. Okay, I knew that. I was well aware of it. And we took care of each other. We fought for each other. We fought with each other. We call each other the most horrible names. If people actually knew the things we'd say to each other, HR departments would go nuts. That's why there's no HR department in the Army. because the things we would call each other, but we were brothers. And we fought together, we fought for each other, okay? But you'll never have that anywhere else, ever. There's never a place that'll happen again, which is part of the problems that veterans have coming out into the world as it is today, where the news is full of and people they're calling you names because you don't, or you do, or you believe this, or you don't like that, or the words we used to use in the military, we use them out here, we get called racist and misogynist and blah, blah, blah. It's like, motherfuckers, I was just fighting and killing people for you sons of bitches, and now you're coming and you, you know. And so the news, and so living in that world, there's a safety despite the fact that you could get killed. Okay, we accepted that we could die. At one point, there were actually several times I expected to get killed, and somehow came out of it and was like, not today, you know. As a reporter, okay, you should be a part of that kind of world. As a journalist, you should wear the same kind of badge of courage that you do in the military. You should know that as a journalist, I may be expected to go and fight and die to get this story. And that should be an acceptable part of your life.
They're the First Amendment. They have the First Amendment behind their back. They are the whole reason, one of the whole reasons for the freedom of the press.
Right.
And yet they are the first ones nowadays to shut people down, to confine themselves. For instance, you know, all of a sudden you can't say the word scam. You have to say the word scheme. And you can't say, it's all the political correctness. They're on the forefront of political correctness because you get the emails from the news department. We cannot no longer say this. You have to say this. It is no longer, black people. It is now people of color. It is no longer illegal alien.
So we're calling them colored people now again?
I know. You can't say alien, illegal alien. You have to say migrant. And they don't understand that they're pushing an agenda when they do that. You can call somebody a migrant, but it doesn't take the fact away that that particular person that you're calling a migrant, you are hiding the fact that there is the word illegal in there. Mm-hmm. And you can say, oh, well, no, there isn't a person who's illegal. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not a person in that terms.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, a person can't be illegal, but their activities are illegal, and what they are doing is illegal.
Yeah.
So I will say an illegal immigrant, an illegal alien, an alien, which is a government term, which is a legal term. Mm-hmm. And now you can't say that. What, I just heard something that now just alien in terms of an actual extraterrestrial is now no longer politically correct. You can see I'm getting a little frustrated. But that's what's so frustrating is these people who are supposed to be standing up for your right to say whatever you want because that is their job.
Yeah.
To have freedom of the press, freedom of speech. And they're the ones saying, no, you can't call somebody an illegal alien because it offends them. You can't say retarded. You've got to say mentally challenged. You've got to say this. You are fooling yourself and you are lying to yourself because you're trying to put a positive spin on something that is negative.
Yeah.
And if you talk to anybody with a mental disability and say, ask them, if you had the choice, would you want to continue being mentally challenged? How many of them are going to say, no, I like being mentally challenged. I'm going to continue on. And if they say no, I'm fine being mentally challenged, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Because it's a negative. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Trying to put a positive spin by renaming it or, trying to be less offensive is not changing the reality of the situation.
Right.
You're trying to, which is making you biased, which you are trying to manipulate the way people think about a certain topic rather than presenting the way it actually is.
Well, you can say, they're not retarded, they're special. To which then the kids go, okay, special. So now that's become a thing. So, oh, what's wrong with Billy? He's special. Okay, well now we have to say he's mentally challenged. Where's Billy? He's mentally challenged. You see that you can say whatever you want. We can take it and make it an epithet like that. Okay, changing the way we say certain things is fine. They're still retarded. That person may still be retarded. They may be mentally challenged. They may be special. Fine. But the reason we're using it isn't because we don't like them, or we think poorly of them, or we don't like who they are. Okay? I have met many people who are mentally handicapped, not just reporters, not just your actors. Okay? And of them that I've known, there's not been a single one that I wasn't blessed to know. You know, and came, learned things about them and about myself and about the world, and saw the blessings of the world within them. Okay? Do I still say people are f***ing retarded? Yep, I absolutely do. Am I insulting my friends when I do that? No. What are you, f***ing mentally retarded? You dumbass? Of course I'm not doing that. You know? But you can't say retarded, I have to say special. Okay, mental. I've met them mental motherfuckers in my life, and they're just as special as the rest of them. Well, you're still saying it. Yes, I am. Because the point is not that you change the word. The meaning is still the same. Whether you want me to call them retarded, or special, or mentally handicapped, when I'm referring to a dumbass like you, or them, or whoever else, I will call you retarded, I will call you special, or mentally handicapped. But the concept is still the same. If I'm going to insult you, I'm going to insult you. You want me to use the new words? Fine. It. I don't give a f***. I have no problem using those words. Okay? Quit trying to modify.
You're going to run out of words eventually.
Yeah. The concept is what the concept is. You're the reporters. You're the ones supposed to give us all these ideas and all these concepts and tell us what's going on, not change how we talk. It's not your f***ing job. Do your job. Give us the news. Tell us what's going on in the world. Stop trying to mutate how we think and talk about it. We can do that ourselves. We don't need you.
Yeah. If you're too scared to risk your reputation and you're too scared to use a particular word on camera, how are you going to tell a story that helps end racism, that helps end a war, that helps put somebody behind bars who committed a crime?
Martin Luther King was a brave, strong, viciously amazing individual. Okay, be like him. The reporters who went to Vietnam, to cover that war, died, some of them, but they did a job. Do that. Be exceptional. Be awesome. Be amazing. That is what you should do, not what you're doing now. You're being ridiculous.